Glad to be back on the podcast, talking about whatever the subjects are going to be today.
Well, the subjects today, Sam, are going to be you.
She said, join us coming in. I said, what for? She said, we're having the doors made bigger to get your big head through. Weird things can happen in this game, Nats. Weird things can happen in this game. When a player's speaking out publicly like that, he feels there's something really wrong with the club. Everybody talks about Maddison an awful lot, but Son's the main man. I know as has been for years.
Gordon asked us on YouTube, would you ever return to Bolton because we need you? Thank you for joining us for another episode of No Tippy Tappy Football. Hey, Sam.
Natalie, how are we?
I am wonderful. How are you?
It's been a while since I've seen you. Why is that?
Because it was international break.
Oh, yes, international break, yeah. Yes, it's but it slipped by quickly. So back
Yes,
here
thankfully.
Again. So glad to be back on the podcast, talking about whatever the subjects are going to be today.
Well, the subjects today, Sam, are going to be you.
Well, so I believe, like, I mean, so when I was talking to Will about that, you know, it was a surprise that we were just going to go on me, like, I mean, so maybe we'll get a little deeper than we normally do and see what turns or pops up in my head. So whenever I do this podcast, or whenever I do a podcast for somebody else, because I did Under the Cosh, that's just come out, I have no idea what I'm going to answer to until the question comes, and the question triggers my mind to, well, remember that year when that happened, and it's just amazing, really, what you can recall from your memory that you never thought was going to happen in the entire filming of that podcast. So, and that's been the same all the way through. Why I love this podcast so much, because it's natural, and we can talk about so many things that you probably wouldn't talk about normally, and lots of things come back to you that you've experienced before, not just yourself but also with your guests, and as well as keeping in touch with the Premier League and what's happening in the Premier League today, and obviously now the window's shut and the Premier League's going to be settling down after the international break again. Then we'll see where it goes.
Yes, that's what I love about it too. You never know what we're going to talk about. So what we've done today, we're going to split the episode into two. So the first part is going to be your questions and answers. So if you subscribe to us, thank you very much.
Yes, a pleasure. Thank you very much.
36,000 subscribers we've got on YouTube now.
Well, let's see if we can get to 40 as quick as we can. We would love that. We would love to keep entertaining you and keep growing our audience. I mean, it's something personally for me that I look forward to every week. As everybody knows now, I'm much more boring than I used to be, and don't do as much as I used to. So Lynn, my wife, loves to keep me out of the house because I get on her nerves. You know.
So Lynn says, please subscribe.
Please keep the podcast going. So so please keep subscribing, and obviously we're looking forward to this season.
Yes, we very much are. So we're on Instagram, we're on X, we're on TikTok. Get us everywhere, and subscribe on YouTube as well. And then you'll know when episodes like this come up where you can ask. We're doing question and answers. So got loads of your questions that have come through, and then we're going to get our posh tactics board back in for anyone watching on YouTube. Our big old whiteboard back in.
The big old posh one
that we had. The big old posh one that we had in the Euros.
Yeah, right.
And we're going to talk tactics for the North London derby. So international break. Did you watch the England game?
I did. I mean, it was comfortable for them. I think that it was two good goals. And what I loved was, and he's excellent at it, in terms of the balls forward. Trent Alexander, and the run, and it was pointed out today that the camera went on him and. Looking at him saying, well, you run like that, Gordon, and I'll. So they picked that out, and obviously that happened, and they scored the first goal with it. So it's good. And Jack.
So happy for Jack.
I mean, yeah. You love Jack, obviously, because you're a Man City fan, but I've always loved his quality, and also I've always loved his personality.
Definitely.
There's a bit of old school in him, and it's good to manage him. And somewhere along the line, I think there'll be a dip, which should be expected.
Yeah.
obviously, if that happens, people will start questioning why and all that pressure that will come. What's he doing? Is he living his life? All that stuff will come, and it's just natural, and it's how you come back. You know what I mean? Because you get a bit big-headed, you get a bit carried away with yourself. You know what I mean? So I've done it in the past. Like, I mean, I've done it as a manager. Because it's a story and a half. This, like, I mean, I'll tell you this why it's in me. Right, see, tell you about things that come in your head.
Yeah.
So Bolton were riding high, top of the league, and all that, going out doing the thing, and got back home with my wife, and she goes, "Joiner's coming in on Monday." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Joiner's coming in." I said, "What for?" She said, "We're having the doors made bigger to get your big head through." So I just got slapped down to earth like that, and I went, "Wow." It was the best piece of advice I got off anybody.
Yeah.
And you just don't notice yourself, but she did. She went, "Oi, Mr. Big Head, stop it." Like, I mean, so got brought down to earth by the missus. Like,
I love that. We all need those people in our lives.
Yeah.
Yes.
They know you better than everybody else. That's why
definitely.
Yeah.
I have a 6-year-old for that who brings me back down to earth all the time. So in terms of the England game then, what do you make about Lee Carsley? Do you think, obviously he's just a temporary manager.
I think he's got to win another couple of games, and the FA will be too willing and too happy to give him the position full time. And of course, he's got a very, very talented squad, and he's walked in and made his own impact by the looks of it. He's picked different players. He's put them in the team. They've delivered. In all fairness, most England teams always deliver in games like this. It's more about when we get to the latter end of a competition where we really have not quite cracked it yet. Yeah. So qualifying, never been a problem for years and years and years now. But getting over the line is that. But the talent of the squad, I know who he's picking, is going to be the test for him. You know, so he'll be looking at his under 21s and only pick them if they're ready. Don't pick them out of loyalty. Yeah. Pick them if they're ready, because there's far too many other players in that squad at senior level. Yeah. Where you've no need to have too many under 21s going in. It's just so talented still. But obviously finding the right positions for players in the team will be his big challenge. Not playing players out of position, and making sure you find the right system, and what his philosophy will be interesting to listen to, interesting to see. But you know, good start, and hope he keeps it up, because obviously there'll be nothing, you know, better than him to take over the job full time. I don't think, if they're thinking about a foreigner, that is, because you know me, how much I'm against a foreign manager. I know I listen to all the pundits and say why not and all that, because it's not right. You know what I mean? So just in terms of what we are as a football nation, the only problem is, like I said, developing our own is hugely difficult in the international league that's played in England, and that's called the Premier League. Yeah. So it's an international league played in this country, which is full of foreign coaches, full of foreign everything now, owners. So it's hard for us now. It's hard for us to build that picture of, are we good enough to manage England? But hopefully he can take over, and he can do a great job. Obviously,
he was born in England, but he represented Ireland. Did you care that he didn't sing the national anthem?
Hey, listen, I sang it, and I was so proud to sing it when I was in that position. It gave me heart palpitations, I'll tell you. But obviously, he's got the Irish connection. So I don't know who he would have upset if he sang it. Would he have upset the Irish more? No, I don't think so. I think if he'd have sang it, because he was born in England, so he's an Englishman. with Irish parents.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then there's the pressure from his Irish parents to say, you can't by any stretch of the imagination. Because there's not a great, between the Republic of Ireland and England, there's not a great affinity between them. You know, when we've had a foreign coach, they're never going to sing it, are they? And some players, for whatever reason, won't sing it today, because we've got all this stuff that goes, you know, this is not right, or that's not right, this is too much of that, that's too much of this, you don't have to do that. So the complications around everything we do today highlighted when somebody just decides to do something that they think they should, and then it becomes a big why is it even public, why is it even news? You know, it's not news, is it? News is that England played well and they won.
That's
And
ultimately.
it didn't bother Martin not singing national anthem when he was under 21 manager, did they?
When he was winning, yeah.
Yeah, and they won the tournament. You know what I mean? So you know, but of course he's got that intrusion to put up with now. For what whoever thought in his life what he's had, he won't know what's coming. So I hope he's spoke to Gareth and everybody else at the England camp and sat down with them and said, look, this is what you're facing. Which is what I did a lot before I got in that position, and I wish him all the very best.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so on the last episode, we listed off the 18 managers, players, referee that had been on the show and then went off to get another job. We've clocked to 19 over the last 2 weeks, Sam.
My old mate, Steve Bruce.
Friend of the pod, Steve Bruce, is back in management at Blackpool. What do you make of that?
Well, I listened to him on ITV last night. He was on the news at ITV, and he said, "Why are we going?" He says, "Because I was bored." So he said he's obviously never got past that stage where he's. I'm not even sure I'll get past that stage if somebody comes to me. So it's relative for it, you know, because he lives local and it's not far to Blackpool. It's the only opportunity at this moment in time for him. And he's got that position, like I mean. So, and of course he can get back home. He doesn't have to live away. And good luck to him, like I mean. So, on the coast, it's a good club, Blackpool. I cut my teeth at Blackpool as my first manager's job in this country, and you know, there'll be a lot of hard work he'll need to do probably, and I hope the owners give him the backing that he'll need to try and make Blackpool at least move up at least one division into the Championship. Whether they'll ever get back in the Premier League again is a difficult task, I think, but that depends on the financing, like everybody else, and the experience of Steve and the recruitment of the players as they go on. But good luck to him.
So you talk about you find it difficult because you miss football or the boredom if someone came in for you. What level of job would you take now? I'm wondering, would you have been interested in the Blackpool job?
No, I wouldn't have been interested in the Blackpool job because one, I've already been there, so I don't think you should go back. Because I went back to Bolton as a player when perhaps I shouldn't have done so. I'm not so sure that's the right thing to do. But it depends who it is.
So
I think probably Championship would be the only thing that would entice me, as well as the Premier League. The Premier League now is only going to be if somebody's struggling. We know that. There's no point in me saying that it's going to be anything else other than there's a team struggling. What, Sam might be a good idea to come and save us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that the Championship would be for me, again, meeting the owners and saying we want to be back in the Premier League in 2 seasons. And saying, well, this is the squad. That's what we need. This is where we want to go, and build the football club. And it depends how quick they want to get there, because the instant success of football now is so rapid that they want it before it's actually possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that when they say patience is a virtue, there is no patience in football. So
No.
you've got to really, really be on top of your game from the very, very start. And of course, going into struggling clubs and sorting them out straight away and surviving means that you can go with your experience and go bump, 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 and not make too many mistakes.
Yeah.
Because it's the mistakes that hound you in the end.
Yeah.
So
a championship club that was
hoping, because if you experience, I was probably thinking the other day, the one thing about, well, Bolton obviously, because that's my club, but when I went to West Ham, it was about one, it was such a big club, and two, I knew I was going to win more games than I was going to lose. For a while, it was a struggle. When you took over a club that was struggling at the bottom and you were losing more games than you were going to win, even though you survived. So when you go to a club, I think West Ham, we lost 6 games, maybe 7. So every weekend, nearly every other weekend, or nearly most weekends, we're happy.
Okay, so we've got some questions for you that have come in. Although one of them, I think Gordon's going to be a bit heartbroken because I think you just answered it. Gordon asked us on YouTube, would you ever return to Bolton because we need you?
Well, that's the most difficult one of all time on what Bolton wanted to achieve and where Bolton wanted to go, because it's very difficult to answer that one. I couldn't answer that until they rang me up and said, would you come back?
Oh, okay.
But obviously they're not going to do that because they've got a good manager in place at the moment too. So hopefully they'll get them up this year.
It's been a tough start for them, yeah.
I just hope he's lost in the playoffs twice now. So I just hope he's, one, to get straight up. That'll be the main aim. But 2, if they don't, and they get in the playoffs again, that he's learned how to manage it this time, because it will be Ian's responsibility to use his experience in the last 2 and get them out of the league.
It's a tough league, isn't it? We stopped Stockport and Wrexham, we went up and are already
flying. Great fan base for a town club. Great stadium still. Fabulous stadium, and of course I still live in Bolton. So, but then again, it's a really bad. What if it went wrong?
Yeah. Is that what you worry would be?
Well, people still.
Your legacy would be.
Still come up to me around town saying thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We thank you so much for the times we had together, and it's nice, obviously, but we'll wait and see.
Okay. Graham, so we had Gordon first, then Graham. Graham asked, would you take an international job like McLaren has done with Jamaica?
Well, if you're only experiencing Jamaica at say going 2 weeks before the international break and then coming back home, then probably yes. But if you're saying I have to go to Jamaica and live there, I'd ask Lynn, are you coming to Jamaica with me? And if she said no, then I wouldn't go. If she said yes, then I would.
Okay. And
try and experience international level again.
Okay, that's
you know
exciting.
I mean?
So you would?
So yeah, well, because you can. I mean, the kids are all grown up. The grandkids are really old now, so never mind that they're in the younger age, so they can always come and visit us.
Yeah.
Whenever they fancy it, you know what I mean? So yeah, it would be interesting international job, but like I said, that Lynn would have to be, if it had to be, you base yourself there full time, Lynn. If you can, there's obviously international jobs where you can go and then you can come back and then go again, and if it's some of the international jobs, most of the players who are playing international are playing in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna watch them, which you need to, you can come back here, back home, and wander around the Premier League and see where they are and who they're playing against, as well as getting the right staff in the country you're managing and saying what do they look like, and then you can go over there and watch a few of those games and then pick your squad. So Yeah, interesting.
I guess it would help as well if it was a beautiful country like Jamaica, like somewhere where you went for 2 weeks and the sun was shining
Absolutely.
and
And of course,
the people were lovely. And
he's not there. He's not there at the moment because but he was living there for an awful long time. Was Ricardo Gardner?
oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but Bibby's back over here with his son. I don't know what club his son's at, but his son's come over and got a club. Like, you mean, he actually got released from Man City, by the way. So,
Oh wow.
but he's found a club, I think, with him. So he's over here now trying to guide his son into. I mean, if he's as good as Bibby is, then he's going to be some player.
Oh.
I mean, this lad, I've said this before, this lad played for 15 years at Bolton and deserved a testimonial, but if I had a player, if I could mould a player into what would you like, he would be one of the examples I'd give.
Wow.
No trouble to you, comes in, trains hard, goes out on the field and plays his best. Match winner at occasions, like I mean, fit as a fiddle, great skill, loved the club, loved playing football. So those are the you got more of those players in your squad than some that might cause you a problem or two.
The next question is Darth Choco Boz, hope I've got that right, on YouTube asked, is it true that you do a form of silent meditation?
I do transcendental meditation, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, transcendental meditation was something that Mark Taylor and Mike Ford had said, let's have a go at Bolton many years ago. And I thought, well, as always, like cryotherapy unit, I'll have a go at that. So you get a mantra that's just for you, which is one word.
Yep.
And obviously you go through the initiation, which obviously gets frowned upon, especially by Brits over here. Like, I mean, that, you know, what's that? But it was scientifically researched, which means that the doctor at the club and the physio was bringing in. The doctor couldn't argue. Doctors argue with Chinese medicine and meditation. They argue with it because it's not done by through the university, so it's not proven properly. They say, but it is.
Yeah. Transcendental
meditation is proven because they researched it apparently. So
you sit and repeat the mantra.
Yeah, and it's transcendental meditation is something you can do anywhere. You don't have to go in a quiet place and sit like with your legs crossed and your fingers like this. You can do if you're in a quiet place, but you can just close your eyes if you're on the plane and just breathe and repeat your mantra. And the more you do it, the deeper you go. The deeper you go, the more you feel refreshed when you wake up. And you look at the time and go, wow. So what you think was 10 minutes will become an hour. No, that's wrong. Maybe half an hour or 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So it refreshes you, gives you, you know, an up-and-at-it type of feel, like you mean. So it's great. It's great if you're under pressure as well, which is why I tried it. What I thought, because that when you feel the pressure, when the tension's on, like you mean, when you can't sleep, just lie in bed and throw everything out your mind, like you mean, and just go, you know, let's focus, let's breathe, and then you just can drift away.
Great question. The answer is yes.
A very good question.
Love that. Okay, next question is, what is the best goal Sam has seen a team of his score?
Well, the best free kick scored was JJ Koch's in the semi-final of the Carling Cup or the whatever cup it was at the time, when he bent it with the outside of his right foot round the outside of the wall into the top corner from about 22 yards away on the left-hand side at the Reebok.
Right, we'll have to Google that one. I'll have a look for that one.
When he was going to the archives, my best goal was Sunderland at home. Bolton versus Sunderland at home. Gerald Sinstad, what a happy boy, he said. See how lucky we were on telly
Yeah.
then.
How many goals did you score?
Oh, I can't remember now. In my career, probably about 30, 40.
Okay.
And everybody said, were they all headers? Most of them. Yeah. Probably 99% were headers.
Yeah. Right, another question we had. Is it true that you tried to sign Edin Dzeko for Sunderland? I've never heard you mention this, so I don't know where this is from, but is that true, you thinking?
Where was Edin Dzeko at the time?
It doesn't say, but I mean, I think he only played for City in England. I mean, he was still playing for Inter Milan when we played them in the Champions League final, but yeah.
Yes, but that was it. That was at... Was that Sunderland or was that West Ham? I think that was West Ham. I don't know. When did Edin Dzeko leave Man City?
I want to say 2014, but that's a guess. A complete guess.
No,
maybe
then it would
later,
have been,
maybe 15.
It would have, well, it's definitely one of the clubs I was at the time.
Yeah.
And then it went to a number of agents, and then we finally got to the player's real agent, and who said, I didn't even realise he was for sale. But the club said they would sell him at the time.
Okay.
I remember that now. It's like I got reminded on the Under the Cosh podcast. I went to Portugal. I can't remember the player's name now. I went to Portugal and signed the player on. Or I thought I'd signed the player on. And this must have been Blackburn, I think. I can't remember exactly, but they reminded me of this player. And he got kidnapped. So somebody came and took him and put him away till the window was shut, and then took him back to the club in Portugal. Yeah. So met the player, met the agent, who said he was his agent. Did the whole deal.
Yeah.
Went to meet him in Portugal, and another agent apparently who he got involved with came and whipped him away. So
what happened?
Well, he came back again apparently to the club he was already at after the window shut, and that was the agent who hadn't been involved.
Yeah. Not
letting him go, and because he weren't making any money, wouldn't let it happen.
That's nuts.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Okay.
So some weird things can happen in this game, Nats. Weird things can happen in this game.
God, it never ceases to surprise me.
The lads reminded me, and I went, wow, I forgot about that.
Wow.
You know, so that was one thing I did get reminded of that I'd forgotten completely about.
Okay. Right, talking about trying to sign players, or actually signing players in this instance, question from Tom. He's asked you to rank the best 3 Premier League transfers of the window that's just gone. So obviously there was quite a few. So we started making a list before we started recording of some of them. So we'd written down. So Aaron
Gundogan's the best.
Yep.
I mean, because you're free and he's world class, and Man City lost him only a year ago, and I watched him when I was at Leeds when he played against us in my first game for Leeds, and watched him on the touchline and went, wow. I mean, I knew I'd watch him in the stand and I knew I'd watch him on the telly, but watching him when you're on the touchline and you watch him there, and he was like just... So the overall package is like, he's not going to have to settle in. He already knows everybody. Yeah. He's not cost any money transfer wise, and he's a top international player who's played for Man City only a year ago. Yeah. And all they've got to stump up is his wages, which they were used to paying anyway. Mm-hmm. So that's just got to be the best pound for pound signing in this window.
Well, I love that answer, obviously. Who would you put up there as well? Because you're a big fan of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. You've talked about him before.
Because I always look at what price they've been sold for and what price they were bought at. Like, I mean, and as I've said before, my understanding in stats terms is one of the, if not the best defender in the Premier League at full-back level. And so if West Ham have bought that player at, what was it, about 8 million or 10 million, they paid 50 for him, Man United. And the only reason I can see why Man United have let him go is because of his maybe not as good as Darlow at attacking. And personally, I find that absolutely bizarre.
Yes.
Because everybody knows, well, obviously Ten Hag doesn't know that the only way you win something is if you've got the best defensive record in the league. Obviously, you'll need to score the goals to go with it, but if you've got the best defensive record in the league, you need less goals to win it than you would if you don't have the best defensive. So I found that to be a very good piece of business from West Ham. Yeah.
Some of the other names we were banding about before, Emile Smith-Rowe, Dominic Solanke, obviously Max Kilman went from Wolves to West Ham, Jadon Sancho on loan, Raheem Sterling, we haven't seen him yet, Matt O'Reilly from Celtic.
He's got something to prove now in Raheem, hasn't he? Or he's not 30 yet, is he? I don't think he's 30 yet.
No.
You know, so if he can go and capture his form, well, probably his Man City form more than anything else.
I mean, Liverpool form.
He's done okay at Chelsea. He's never matched what he did at Man City, has he? You know. But obviously he's got the bit between his teeth and go, I'll show you.
Which is the scary bit for me, yeah.
You know, I mean, he made his feelings known about how when a player's speaking out publicly like that, he feels there's something really wrong with the club. Yeah. I know it's going. Because you've put your career on the line at that football club when you speak out like that. It doesn't matter, even though it might be true, it's not going to end well for you at that club. But he was brave enough to speak out about how he felt he was being treated and how the club was going. So he's got his move, and he's got a team that is going to run for the title, in my opinion, against Man City.
Yeah, definitely.
And he's got a big challenge on how often he's going to prove that he can play on a regular basis for Arsenal, because the competition's stiff.
So Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Gundogan, and who else were you putting your top three for signing to the window?
I'd put Sterling, because,
Yeah.
I'm over all packaging, I like, so there might be others that come out, and Onana, from Everton to Villa. I think that's a good boy. He started well, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But he started well at Everton and drifted away. So I'll hold a reservation on that, on whether he can consistently perform to that level throughout the season.
Right, we've got one more question or thing to ask you before we move on to our tactics for the North London derby. So there's a Twitter account called the Cultura Spod. They're ranking Barclaysmen. So it's players and managers that typified the Premier League of a certain era. And they've got through to the quarterfinals, and it's all over Twitter. So we wanted to get your thoughts on the quarterfinals. So who would win? So it's that guy that really, when you think of the Premier League of that era, this is the name that comes to your mind.
Yeah.
Okay, Yakubu versus Peter Crouch.
Oh, I'd be Crouchy all day long.
Yeah.
What he did at that time, what he did for England, and his personality, I suppose, as well. Does all that get taken into consideration?
Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, definitely. Carnu versus Leighton Baines. He's thinking.
I am thinking. I've got Carnu, I think.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how you're going to answer this next one. UC Jääskeläinen versus JJ Okocha.
Oh, JJ Okocha, for goodness sake. I mean, oh my God, you should put them two together. As much as Jussi's a top goalkeeper and all that, it's JJ's, you're talking about world-class talent and personality. And personality, just not just a great trickster of the game, but also a great personality.
Nico Crankjar versus Tim Cahill.
I'd Tim Cahill.
Yeah. So you've
What
got
he did with Moisey at Everton,
Yeah.
particularly, you know.
Crouch, Carnu, Okocha, and Cahill. Who would be your winner?
Well, I'm biased, aren't I?
Yeah, JJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
biased as hell, me. Like, you know, it's a bad question to ask when JJ comes into it.
There we go. We love that. You've all been talking about that on Twitter, so we love that. We love that opinion. Thank you. Right. If you're watching,
is it Twitter or is it X?
I don't know. It's called X, but you still tweet, it doesn't make sense, does it?
I'm bringing out Twitter X next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to put a consortium together and write up programs and do Twitter X.
Twitter X.
Think
You'd
I'll
like
be
to
allowed
invest?
Would I be allowed
Yes.
to do that?
Do whatever you want, Sam.
Or will
I reckon.
Elon Musk sue me for you?
I reckon no one's stopping you doing anything. Right, if you're watching on YouTube, we're going to take a little second. We're going to bring in our tactics board now. If you are listening to the podcast, you will know no different in 1 second. So we have brought the whiteboard in, and if you're watching on YouTube, you can see we've got Arsenal on one side and Spurs on the other. So it is the North London derby this weekend. And before we get into the tactics and the teams, because there's injuries and there's team news and there's new players, and it's really interesting, Sam, Gary Neville has said that this is the Premier League fixture that he looks forward to the most.
Really?
Yeah.
Bizarre for Gary, that, isn't it?
So I thought that.
Not Man United, Man City, or you'd have thought Gary would have been Man United, Liverpool, wouldn't you?
Maybe he doesn't like seeing his team get beat all the time.
Yeah.
Or it might be some of these stats, Sam. So Arsenal have scored first in the last 5 out of 6 games.
Yeah.
It's more than 2.5 goals has been scored in the last 5 out of 6 games. Arsenal won the game last season 3-2. So they're entertaining high-scoring games, and Arsenal have won their last 2 games at Spurs. So this one is at Spurs as well. So they are generally high-scoring, interesting, end-to-end attacking games. Whereas often you look at a Man City versus Liverpool game can be very, 0-0, 1-1. They can be tentative and nervous, similar to City Arsenal games over the years. They've been, whereas this one, it's a bit all out.
I think you're probably right. I think that, but in saying that though, I've seen a shift in Mikel Arteta on the defensive side. I saw him come to Man City last year and put the double-decker up, as old Mourinho, Jose would say.
Yeah.
He parked the bus, and he parked the bus and got the point that they were looking for. Like you mean, so he's looked at his entire situation and said, if I want to win the league, then if I don't lose against the top 6, then I'm going to have a better chance of winning the league. And making sure that we beat everybody else who runs below that, which in football terms or on paper is supposed to be easy. It's not always like that. Otherwise, the Premier League become boring. But that probably working out very well. This game is massive. We'll all be looking forward to it, but none more so than the Arsenal Tottenham fans. And Arsenal will be fancying the chances. Tottenham will be a little bit more in hope, I think, that they can get the answers that they need and send the fans home. But what systems are going to play? It looks like they're going to play similar systems. Like with the fact, I think there's one advantage for Tottenham is that Odegaard and Declan Rice are not going to play. Yeah. So
Declan Rice is suspended.
He's suspended. Odegaard came off injured at international level, didn't he? So that leaves Arsenal a little bit lighter than normal there. Partey's obviously been there for a while, done well. They've got an experienced Juninho, so whether it's Havertz just plays in front there or not is going to be the challenge for Arsenal. The rest of the Arsenal team is fixed, isn't it?
What about the left, Trossard or Martinelli?
I think he's going to do a Trossard. He might do it to stop him sulking.
Yeah.
Because he had a big sulk on, didn't he? When he, he came on and scored, didn't he? When he came on and scored, but you could see in his face that he wasn't very happy. So there was, but I think Trossard will start there.
And then up front,
Saka.
or in the attacking lineup, would you play Raheem Sterling? Would you get his first start in this game? Throw him straight in?
Well, it would be Jesus if he's fit.
Yep.
But that depends on that situation and Ryan on the bench to start with. But I mean, he'll be biting at the bit to get on and try and prove himself. When I think that what a move for him. Blowing out at Chelsea. Here's his opinion on the club, which obviously he got criticised for. But I mean, it must have been really, really bad for him to go that far, and he's got the move to a club that looks like it wants to challenge Man City right to the end. And can he make a big contribution? Because he's got big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
When he's going to be playing, if he's going to be selected, so he's going to have to find how to get in the team. Whereas where we look at Tottenham's side, everybody talks about Maddison an awful lot, but Son's the main man.
Oh, yeah.
I know, as has been for years. I mean, he can make them tick. Defensively, they look a little bit more solid.
Yeah.
With the two central defender and the left back have added.
He's an injury concern, but we don't know yet if he's going to be out. And you like Udogie as well.
Yes, I think he's added to the strength and depth of the side. So it'll be interesting, and I think that Solanke's going to be It's taken Solanke a long time to be a goal scorer in the Premier League.
Yep.
He's Liverpool, Bournemouth.
Yeah.
And only last season did he hit any sort of goal mark that you would see. But obviously they're taking him to Tottenham to cure that problem.
Yeah.
But
unlucky for Solanke to get injured in the first game of the season as well.
It is. But
so hopefully he's back.
It's whether he can handle the pressure of Tottenham.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Liverpool didn't didn't pay off, and now he's at the stage of his life where Tottenham's the big move and everybody's looking at him to produce the goals that he did at Bournemouth. So, but he's playing against such a good defence, especially the centre halves.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a great game. It's going to be very interesting, and the managers tactically are going to have to be astute, I think, throughout the game and covering what they may need to cover to maybe block off what the opposition's doing for a while, and then or create an opportunity to expose or try and expose what they think is a weakness in the opposition's defence. And of course, we want end to end an action in the box, and showing the quality that both teams have got.
So what is your score prediction? What do you think?
My score is it's a 2-1 to Arsenal.
Okay.
A 2-1. But I shall be sat down with a cup of tea and a biscuit.
What biscuit?
Digestive.
Nice.
They do a digestive now, which has got low sugar in it, by the way. So.
I'm hoping for like a 4-2 to either team, like a mad one. But it's a big week for Arsenal because they have Spurs at Spurs and then they have City in Manchester. So I think come game week, so after the 5th Premier League game, we'll really know about Arsenal, I think.
We'll look forward to it and see how it goes.
Look forward to the whole Premier League football being back this weekend.
Yeah, when you get the atmosphere, even through the telly, don't you? You got some. If you've got surround sound now, and you've got the, you can feel it, like you mean. So it's going to be very, very interesting.
Well, thank you, Sam. That was fun. Just meeting you.
Pleasure again here on my own this time. Yeah, it's good.
It was nice. I liked it. I think we'll have a guest next week.
Yeah, we'll see who fancies coming. If you're watching this and you fancy coming on,
especially if you want a job. Yeah. Let Sam know.
Yeah, if you want a job, you don't have to work. Come on, give us a ring. You might get a job.
Sam, thank you very much. Have a lovely week.
Pleasure, Nat, as always.
Thank you very much for being with us again for another episode of No Tippy Tappy Football. If you don't, please subscribe and follow us across all the channels. Big Sam says you have to. Thanks.